Alright, so this video will be about just some tricks to beating insomnia. I'll tell a little story too about the first time I quit smoking weed. And it's funny because last night, I always sleep like a baby, but last night I was having some issues. I'm like, that's funny because tomorrow I'm about to film a video about, how to fall asleep quick. But the thing is, things were happening that it wasn't, I had external shit going on that was keeping me up, that was making me angry, which is, makes it harder to sleep when pissed off, you know what I mean? So, first off, thanks for the subs, thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments. Appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for the tips, Venmo, Cashapp, PayPal. Appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for the Patreon support. Appreciate every single one of you. I guess, yeah, I got some controversial I want to say, man, and I'm not sure. I guess I'll put it on Patreon and get some opinions on it and see if people think that I should try putting it on YouTube, because I don't want to lose my channel or nothing, but I got a lot of shit to say, man, and I believe it needs to be said, and I got no problem saying it. A lot of people are afraid to say things. They think like, I mean, I get it. They've got things to lose. I don't. I've constructed my life in a way to where I can say whatever I want, and nobody can do nothing to me except start a fight with me, and in that case, we'll be fighting. You know what I mean? It's, if somebody wants to try to put their hands on me for having an opinion, I'm definitely not just going to sit there and let that happen, Anyway, so, here's some tricks for beating insomnia. Now, when I was younger, I was having trouble sleeping one night. I think I was in like 7th grade. We had just moved to Florida, and I absolutely hated it. Like going to school, I didn't know anyone, and I really didn't like it. All my friends were in New York, and I didn't know anyone in Florida yet. My whole first year in Florida, I didn't make any friends because I was like, I don't know what it was. I was just really shy. But then what happened was, I guess I kind of got comfortable and I just started being myself, you know what I mean? But for the first year, I pretty much kept to myself in Florida. And I was just really shy and nervous. But after a year of that, I just, started being myself. But so I was in about 7th grade, and I couldn't get to sleep, and I went into the kitchen and I found some like Tylenol PMs or something, and I took them, and I remember I was like, the next day I was barely able to drag myself up out of bed, and I've never been the type to just be, like, I hate waking up early in the morning, you know what I mean? Unless I've got something I want to do that day, then like going to school, something I hate doing. I did not like waking up in the morning. But when I took those Tylenol PMs, when I woke up in the morning, I was like a corpse. So I was like, man, I ain't doing that shit again, But the other thing I was thinking was, if you need to take some sort of fucking pill every night to go to sleep, then, your whole, then you're relying on some external thing that may not always be there. And on top of that, it's like, and on top of that, you got fucking, it's bad for your fucking liver to be taking, anything like every day, any drug. And I'm sure Tylenol is supposed to be pretty harmless, but I guarantee if you take it every day for your whole life, it's going to do something bad to you. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I realized at a young age that sleeping pills and shit like that is not the way to go, because you just can't be relying on external shit. That it's never gonna, there's always gonna be issues. It's never gonna always be there. And that was one of the reasons why I insisted on getting off heroin, because I was shackled to it, and it was like, it was controlling my life. So I realized at a young age that external shit like that was no good. Man, it's distracting me. I guess it's... So, I mean, eventually what I actually started doing even back then was I started just kind of, working out a little more regularly. But I was also realizing, like, if you have trouble sleeping one night, then just naturally the next night you're just going to be more tired, and you're going to go right to sleep, and that's what ended up happening. But then fast forward a couple of years, right around 14, 15, I started smoking weed pretty regularly with my friends, and then I started, saving up my little lunch money and buying my own weed. And I got in the habit of smoking weed every night right before I went to sleep. And it put me right to sleep every night. And I literally did that pretty much every night from the time when I was maybe 15 till about maybe 20 something, 25 maybe. Of course, right when I start filming, some fucking idiot pulls up next to me and starts fucking digging around in his trunk and slamming his fucking car doors and talking to himself. Like, what the... Like, every fucking time I try to do something. Anyway, so... like, right next to me. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. You know what I mean? But so, So yeah, I was smoking weed every fucking day for about 10 years straight. And then what happened was, this was the time in my life when I was like in between jobs and I couldn't really get a job. I don't remember what the situation was. Oh, it was coming into the winter and there just wasn't that much construction going on at this time. And I couldn't friggin' find a job, but so I had to cling to all my little bit of money that I had saved up, so I couldn't keep smoking weed, so I had to quit. And the other thing was, one of the things that was restricting me from getting jobs, even a lot of the construction jobs in Florida were, well, not a lot of them, but some of them were wanting you to take a drug test, and I'm like, those were just automatically not an option for me, because I was smoking weed. And so I was thinking to myself, let me just quit smoking weed so I don't have to keep spending money on it. Plus, now I can apply for all the jobs that want me to take a drug test, so I quit smoking weed. And for that first month or so, I really didn't know what to do with myself. Like, on the normal times when I would have been smoking weed, I didn't know what to do with myself. It sucked. So, and the other thing was, I couldn't really sleep too well at night because the weed was helping me go to sleep at night for the last 10 years. So going back to smoking weed wasn't even an option. I couldn't even afford it. So what I started doing was just working out like a lot all day pretty much. And but I was not working out in the evenings, you know what I mean? I would stop around like 5, 6 p.m. It's not like I was just waking up in the morning working out till 5 or 6 p.m., but throughout the whole day, I'd be doing sets of push-ups, crunches, leg lifts, whatever. Just trying to get myself exhausted, mainly. It's not like I was even... I mean, yeah, the fact that it was building my muscle was great, but my main purpose at that point was to make myself tired enough to sleep, and it worked. And I swear, I felt better than I had in like 10 years, even though now I smoke weed again. I'm probably going to quit pretty soon, just because every time I do, it's usually hard for a couple of days, but then I start feeling really, really good, you know what I mean? But then I'll get bored of being sober and I'll start smoking weed again. But so, I was working out a lot at this point and working myself into exhaustion, and it was making me sleep at night. So that was how I conquered it back then. And then it was never really an issue for me, you know what I mean? From that point on in my life, I realized that if I'm having trouble going to sleep, all I got to do is expend more energy during the day. And here's the other thing: if I have trouble sleeping the next day, I don't have trouble sleeping. In fact, I can't wait to go to sleep usually. Like tonight, I'm going to sleep like a baby. I'll tell you what happened. But so there's one thing you can do is just start exercising and working out. You know, the thing with working out is, yeah, it's hard if you're not used to doing it, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. I'm at a point in my life where I have to work out. Otherwise, if I take a day off and I don't work out at all, I feel guilty. Like, I don't know what it is, but it bothers me. So, I don't know. I mean, it's rare for me to go a whole day without doing any type of push-ups, crunches, fucking pull-ups, something. You know what I mean? So, but then the other thing is, once I lived on the street, and once I adjusted to falling asleep on the train, once you can sleep through that, you can sleep through anything. And here's the thing, when I was first on the street, I was not getting much sleep because I was trying to stay at Penn Station at first, and the cops kept waking me up, so that wasn't working. So then I was like, let me try to sleep on the A train, even though I got to sit up. At least no one's gonna friggin' interrupt me and wake me up. And it was true. So I I kind of adjusted to it pretty quickly. But the other thing is, on the weekends there's a lot of people partying in the city, so the train will be kind of noisy till late at night, and you just adjust to it, because I don't know how to explain it, but I could sleep through anything at that point. And it was due to the fact that I had to sleep in such uncomfortable ways that my body just needed sleep, and it didn't give a shit what was going on around me. When I needed sleep, I slept, and I adjusted to sleeping on the train. Then I started sleeping at the internet cafe. That's another place where you got to sit up. You can't lay down nowhere. And the other thing is, sometimes there's people in there partying all night. So you adjust to being around noise. And, you know, I would always cover my eyes with something, because it's not like there was bright lights in there, but there were lights in there. But from sleeping in such uncomfortable and ridiculous and difficult spots for years, at this point in my life, when I lay down and I want to go to sleep, I go right to sleep pretty much. I mean, I was up till... So last night what happened was, I went to sleep as normal maybe around midnight. And then this new fan that I bought starts rattling at like 2 a.m. and it wakes me up. And I'm like, you know, so I got to wake up fully and try to figure out why this thing's rattling. I couldn't figure it out. So I just got frustrated and like shook it, and it stopped rattling. So I went back to sleep. Literally about an hour later, it starts rattling again. And now I'm getting pissed. So I'm shaking it. Now it's like 3 a.m. And I'm shaking it, and it's, you know, it's still rattling. So then I was just like really pissed, and I just kind of hit it. And it broke. And I was like, oh, fuck it. At least it ain't making noise. I go to sleep. Next thing I know, I got a fucking mosquito attacking me. So I got to wake up again and swing a shirt around like a helicopter to try to fucking, you know, get rid of the fucking mosquito. And fucking, so, you know, at this point, it's like 4 a.m. and I'm fucking wide awake. You know what I mean? And I'm annoyed, and I'm pissed. And on top of that, it's a little hot, and I've only got one fan going now. So I'm pretty pissed, to be honest. And so I use this technique, which is this is what like the Navy SEALs use, and probably all the other special forces in the American Armed Forces. There's a trick that they use to go to sleep, because these people are they have to get sleep. They're in an intense combat. Their life is on the line. There's shit happening, you know, but they need sleep, because if you don't sleep, you're not going to be on point. So they literally have a method for falling asleep quickly, and you can Google this in case I don't explain it that good. Just look up on YouTube, Navy SEALs sleep, Navy SEALs sleep trick. Look that up. But so this is what they do. And I've heard this from other people too, so you know, they lay down and they first just completely relax their face, relax every muscle in your face. Now, I was doing this last night and I realized I was pissed off. So I realized once I consciously relaxed my face, I realized my jaw was clenched and my face was like tensed up. Oh, there's a bumblebee on me. Look at this motherfucker. What are you doing, buddy? I ain't a fucking flower. Y'all want to see the bee? Oh, there he goes. Whatever. Fuck. So I actually, that's funny. I just realized, yeah, I had to actually use this tactic last night. So, once I consciously relaxed my face, I realized I was tensed the fuck up. Which, had I not consciously relaxed my face, I wouldn't have noticed. And I would have been laying there with my jaw clenched, wondering why I can't sleep, you know? So, as soon as I did that, now this is, I didn't even get to this part, to be honest. Now, what they do, what the Navy SEALs do or whatever, the next thing they do is they relax one arm completely all the way down, then they relax the other one, then their body, then their legs. They just consciously relax every single inch of their body, and then they're supposed to imagine themselves laying in a canoe in the middle of a lake and being rocked to sleep by the boat. This is what they do. And I was asleep before I even got to all that. So I don't know. It works for me. Hopefully it'll work for you. And it works for them. I saw a video one time with the guy who killed bin Laden. Apparently, when they were on their way on that mission, they were all sleeping in the plane on their way there. Could you imagine, like, you're about to go after the most wanted man on earth in probably a fortified compound, and they were sleeping the whole time on the way there. And so they used that method apparently to go to sleep. And so here's another one. It's basically another way to do it is, and I've heard like the spiritual gurus and stuff say this one. You picture like a point of light in the middle of your head, and as it spreads, it relaxes every muscle that it goes through. You picture it going down your chest, down your arm, down your left arm, then your right arm, down your body, down your legs, down to your toes, and you really picture it and meditate on it. And as that beam of light fills your body, it relaxes every muscle in your body. That was another tactic that I had seen somewhere, and I don't even remember where. And then here's another thing you can do. Oh, and another thing that they said you're supposed to do is to try to just have no thoughts in your head, which I've tried to like meditate and stuff, because I believe that if you go into a deep enough state of meditation, you can really get in contact with, like, God, for lack of a better term. Or like, I believe people can have outer body experiences and stuff if they meditate deep enough. I've never been able to reach that level of meditation, but I 100% believe it's possible. So sometimes if I'm not that tired, what I'll do is, right when I lay down, I will start trying to basically meditate. So basically what I do to meditate is I try to not have any thoughts, but any thoughts that come into my head, I just kind of observe them from the outside. I try not to have any opinion or feeling about them. I feel like these thoughts are coming to the surface for a reason, so I acknowledge them, and then I just kind of let them go away. And the next thing you know, I'll be asleep. So, before I go to sleep, sometimes I'll be trying to meditate, but what happens is I just fall asleep. So that's another way. So what you do is you just lay there and you think about nothing, and thoughts are going to pop up into your head, and that's fine. I'm interested to see what thoughts pop into my head out of nowhere, because they always do. And so just kind of observe those thoughts. Don't let them bother you. Don't let them affect you. And, let it pass. You know what I mean? And see where it leads you, But yeah, sleep is a very important thing. People don't even realize how important it is. Like, I mean, if you don't sleep, your health is going to suffer in a major way. I believe you're going to age faster. I believe your body's not going to heal as well. Like, I sleep deep every night. Someone made a comment the other day on one of my videos, maybe it was the last video. He said that when you smoke weed, you don't go into REM sleep. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not, because I still have dreams when I smoke weed. The thing is, when I don't smoke weed, I have way more vivid dreams. But either way, I'm still having dreams. So, I don't know. You know, you got to do what works for you. But the other thing is, you can't, like I said, you shouldn't be relying on anything external. You know what I mean? Like, I smoke weed now, not because it helps me sleep, but because it just, you know, it gives me something to do if I got nothing else going on. I'm just chilling in the back of my truck. I'm not going to sleep at 8 p.m. You know what I mean? I'm going to sit there and smoke a bowl and then play some video games. I downloaded this fucking PlayStation 2 emulator, and so I've been playing all the old school PlayStation 2 games. Dude, there's so many good games on the PlayStation 2. It's unreal. But so yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. If there's nothing else going on, I'll just get to my spot at night, you know, get myself set up, get in the back of my truck, smoke a bowl, and then lately I've been playing Fight Night 2004. If that's not the best boxing game that was ever made, I don't know what is. Does anyone know? Like, that game is so good, dude. Like, it's so accurate to real boxing. It's crazy. Like, if you never played that game, download a PlayStation 2 emulator and download Fight Night 2004. You're going to be blown away by how good that boxing game is. It's so accurate to real boxing. I'm telling you, dude, it's crazy. But so yeah, that's why I smoke weed now, just to give me something to do between 8 p.m. and midnight when I'm going to go to sleep, because I don't, you know, I usually go to sleep around midnight and wake up around 8, 9 in the morning. So, I guess this video ain't gonna be that long. It's like, you know, it's actually longer than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like a 15-minute video. But so yeah, if you're having trouble sleeping, try those things. Try not to rely on external crap, because sooner or later you're gonna have to. That external crap is not going to be there, you know. Sooner or later, you just got to rely on yourself, and it's best to learn to do that as soon as possible. That's why I'm always amazed when I see people getting prescribed sleep medication and stuff. I can't believe doctors would do that to people. Like, aren't they going to be addicted to taking a pill every night before they go to sleep? You know, that can't be healthy. But the doctors don't give a shit, because they're just pharmaceutical salesmen nowadays anyways. You know, look into it. Maybe I'll make a video about that. But I've seen doctors say basically, like, you know, their job nowadays is just to basically find a way to get everyone on some sort of pharmaceutical. It's just a big money grab. And it's bullshit. And here's another thing that's funny. I was arguing with a med student one time about the origin of life, and I gotta be honest, I couldn't believe how dumb this guy was. This guy was a medical student, and so I was basically trying to say, like, okay, you say that life formed from just chemicals in the water, but where did those chemicals come from? Explain it to me. I don't get it, you know? Because I believe life originated in a different way. But I wanted him to explain the scientific way that he was taught, and he couldn't do it. Because the reality is, none of them can. If you look it up, I'll make a whole video about it. Because they act like they've got it all figured out, but if you look into it, it doesn't make sense. What they're saying doesn't make sense. Basically what they're saying is, oh, a bunch of chemical reactions happened and life sprouted from inanimate objects, which is, you know, that doesn't make sense. I don't give a shit if you tell me you went to Harvard and you're the smartest person on earth. It still doesn't make sense, because you're saying inanimate dead things turned into living animated things, and that just is not how things work. Anyway, I'll make a video about it. But So I guess that's about it. I mean, if you're having trouble sleeping, use the Navy SEAL method. Look it up. I explained it the way they explain it. So, but you can look it up. Just on YouTube, the Navy SEAL sleep method or the Special Forces sleep method or trick or whatever. Look it up. But it's basically going to tell you the same thing. The main thing for me was last night when I was pissed off and wide awake and ready to punch someone in the face, to be honest. But as soon as I relaxed my face muscles consciously, I was ready to sleep. So just try that. Just let all the tension out of your body, completely relax, starting with your face, and relax everything. And I bet you fall asleep pretty quickly. If not, then I don't know. Try looking up some other stuff. Like, my suggestion is don't rely on nothing external. If you can't sleep one night, I bet you're gonna sleep good the next night. Sooner or later, your body is going to fall asleep. Cute chick rollerblading by. Anyway, so I guess that's it. I finally taught myself how to use the OBS thing. It's pretty easy, actually. But so the next video will probably be a reaction video. We'll see how that does. I think it's going to do well, because I just need now I need to look up how to avoid the copyright strikes and shit. So it's coming soon. But on top of that, I got a list of other videos that I want to make. So yeah, next day or two I'll put up the next video. Anyways, thanks for the subs, likes, comments, appreciate you. Thanks for the tips, Venmo, Cashapp, PayPal, appreciate you. Thanks for the Patreon support, appreciate every single one of you. Everybody have a good one, and I'll see y'all in a couple of days. Later.